You ever have someone who just drains the air from a room? Like, you can feel them sucking up all the oxygen before they even open their mouth? That was Vanessa. And for 3 years, 3 entire years, I had to sit 6 feet away from her in our shared office space, watching her perform what I can only describe as a one-woman show called Everyone Else is Beneath. This whole thing started back in March 2023. I was working at a digital marketing agency in Austin, one of those we're a family places with La Croix in the fridge and a ping pong table nobody used. My desk faced the window, which sounds nice until you realize it also faced Vanessa's desk. Every morning around 8:47, and I know the exact time because I started tracking it like some kind of psychological experiment, she'd arrive with her oat milk latte, set it down with this deliberate clink, and begin her daily ritual of letting everyone know how successful she was. I'm talking about someone who would literally announce her Instagram follower count increases. Out loud. To the office. Oh my god, you guys, I gained 300 followers overnight. My engagement is insane right now. I'd be trying to finish a client proposal, and she'd just project this information into the universe like we were all waiting for the update. Here's the thing, though. I actually started my own side content page about 6 months before Vanessa joined the company. Nothing fancy, just marketing tips and behind-the-scenes stuff from agency life. I had maybe 2,000 followers at the time. Respectable for a hobby. I never really talked about it at work because honestly, who cares? But Vanessa somehow found out about it during a team happy hour when someone asked what I did for fun. Her reaction? She literally laughed. Not like a chuckle, a full hand-over-mouth, oh sweetie kind of laugh. That's adorable, she said, touching my arm in that way that feels like a pat on the head. I remember when I had that many followers. Don't worry, you'll grow eventually. It takes time to learn what actually works. At that point, she had around 15,000 followers. She talked about it the way some people talk about their PhD. The thing about Vanessa was that everything, and I mean everything, became a competition I didn't know I'd entered. If I mentioned working on a campaign, she'd done a bigger one. If I shared a client win in our team meeting, she'd already achieved that milestone like 2 years ago. She had this way of nodding along while you talked, her expression just sympathetic enough to seem supportive, but her eyes doing something else entirely. By June, I'd honestly tuned most of it out. She was background noise, annoying, but manageable. I focused on my actual job and kept posting on my page when inspiration hit, usually late at night after my roommate's cat finally stopped knocking things off my desk. My content was pretty straightforward. Marketing mistakes I'd seen, client management tips, the occasional rant about industry trends that made no sense. Then one Tuesday morning, I remember it was Tuesday because we had our weekly status meeting at 10, Vanessa arrived late. Not unusual. What was unusual was her mood. She slammed her laptop bag down, ignored her usual latte ritual, and stared at her phone with this expression I'd never seen before. If I had to describe it, confusion mixed with something that looked uncomfortably close to panic. My coworker Jake, who sat behind me, caught my eye and mouthed, "What's wrong with her?" I shrugged. The meeting was weird. Vanessa, who normally interrupted every 5 minutes to add her professional insight, barely spoke. She kept checking her phone under the table, which, yeah, we could all see. Vanessa, it's glass, and doing this thing where she'd tap her pen against her notepad without actually writing anything. After the meeting, she beelined back to her desk and started typing frantically. I'm talking aggressive keyboard sounds, the kind where you know someone's composing a message they'll regret. I went back to editing some ad copy, half listening to her increasingly agitated sighs, when my own phone buzzed. Instagram notification. Someone new had followed my page. I almost dropped my coffee. It was Vanessa. Not her personal account. I was already familiar with that one from when I'd searched her up out of morbid curiosity months ago. This was her professional brand account. The one she talked about constantly. The one with 15,000 followers that was apparently changing the digital marketing conversation. Vanessa Knows Marketing had followed my tiny 400 follower page. I stared at my phone for probably 30 seconds straight, trying to process what I was seeing. In the background, I could hear Vanessa on a call, her voice tight. No, I understand the metrics dropped, but that's completely normal for this time of year. Oh. I did what any reasonable person would do. I opened her profile to investigate. What I found was interesting. Her last 5 posts, the ones from the past 2 weeks, had engagement rates that could only be described as tragic. We're talking maybe 50 likes on posts to 15,000 followers. The comment sections were ghost towns. One post had literally 3 comments, and 2 of them were from her mom. Meanwhile, and I checked this because suddenly I was very curious, my recent posts were getting anywhere from 200 to 400 likes. My comment sections had actual conversations happening. People asking follow-up questions, tagging their coworkers, sharing their own experiences. When had that happened? I'd been so focused on just creating content I enjoyed that I hadn't really paid attention to the growth pattern. Checking my insights, I'd somehow hit 4,100 followers. When did I gain 2,000 people? The next few weeks were honestly kind of surreal. Vanessa stopped talking about her follower count. Just completely stopped. The morning announcements ceased. The casual mentions during lunch disappeared. Instead, she started asking me questions. Subtle ones at first. Hey, what time do you usually post? Do you use any specific hashtags? Who does your graphics? I answered honestly, evening, whatever felt relevant. I made them myself in Canva, but each answer seemed to frustrate her more. My friend Sarah from the creative team pulled me aside in the kitchen one afternoon in late June. Is it just me, or is Vanessa studying you? Studying me? Dude, she watches your screen when you're working. I've seen her crane her neck to see what you're doing. It's weird. That's when I started noticing it too. The glances. The way she'd angle her monitor slightly toward mine. How she'd go suspiciously silent when I was on my phone during lunch. Clearly scrolling through my own content to check engagement. Then, early July, things escalated. I posted a reel about common marketing red flags. Nothing groundbreaking, just a trend everyone was doing. 30-second video, quick cuts, trending audio. It went up at 9 p.m. on a Wednesday. By Thursday morning, it had 50,000 views. By Thursday afternoon, $200,000. By Friday, it hit 1.2 million views. My follower count jumped from 4,100 to 23,000 in under 48 hours. I walked into the office that Friday morning still kind of in shock. My phone blowing up with notifications I'd had to mute. I hadn't slept much, kept waking up to check if the numbers were real. Vanessa was already at her desk. When I sat down, she didn't say her usual passive-aggressive, "Good morning." She said nothing. Just stared at her screen with this expression that I can only describe as someone watching their house burn down in slow motion. Jake leaned over. Dude, congrats on the viral thing. I saw it on my feed last night. Thanks, man. Still kind of processing it. That's incredible, said Melissa from accounts. I sent it to like 6 people. So accurate. The congratulations kept coming, from everyone except Vanessa, who had developed a sudden intense interest in her keyboard. Around 11 a.m., I got a DM on Instagram from Vanessa. Hey, saw your video doing well. Would love to pick your brain about your content strategy sometime. Coffee? I stared at the message for a solid minute. This was the same person who'd laughed at my follower count 8 months ago. The same person who'd said I'd learn what actually works eventually. I didn't respond immediately. Partly because I was busy. The viral video had led to 3 companies reaching out about consulting work, but mostly because I needed to think about what I wanted to say. The thing about Vanessa was that she didn't just follow my page to support me or because she genuinely enjoyed the content. I could see her in my story views, watching everything within minutes of posting. She'd started posting at the exact same times I did, using similar graphic styles. Even her captions had started sounding like mine, that casual conversational tone she used to mock as unprofessional. By mid-July, I'd hit 35,000 followers. Vanessa's account was stuck at 15,200. The office dynamic had shifted in this unspoken but obvious way. People started asking me for social media advice during lunch. Our boss mentioned my growing industry presence in a team meeting. The marketing director asked if I'd be interested in running the agency's social strategy. And Vanessa? She got quieter. Not humble quiet, resentful quiet. The breaking point came during our August team meeting. Our director, Tom, was talking about brand building. We should all be looking at successful examples in our industry. Actually, speaking of which, he pulled up the projector screen. I want everyone to check out this account. Really smart content strategy. He displayed my Instagram page on the conference room screen. I felt my face get hot. I hadn't told anyone I was hitting 40,000 followers. Hadn't mentioned that 2 industry publications had featured my content. Definitely hadn't expected my boss's boss to use me as a case study in a meeting. Notice the consistency, Tom continued, scrolling through my feed. The authentic voice. The engagement rates, these are phenomenal numbers. I could feel Vanessa's stare boring into the side of my head. I kept my eyes on the screen, trying to look professionally humble while internally screaming. This is the kind of brand presence we want to cultivate for our clients, Tom said. Real authority, not just vanity metrics. Vanity metrics? I didn't have to look at Vanessa to know that landed. After the meeting, I went straight to my desk. Vanessa was still in the conference room, and through the glass walls I could see her talking to Tom, gesturing emphatically at her phone. Whatever she was saying, Tom's expression was polite but disengaged. The I have another meeting face. When she finally came back to her desk, she didn't sit down. Just grabbed her bag. Lunch, she announced to no one, and left. She didn't come back until 3 p.m., and when she did, her eyes were red. Here's where I should probably feel bad. And look, part of me did. I'm not a monster. Watching someone's ego crumble in real time isn't actually as satisfying as you'd think it would be. But another part of me, the part that had endured 3 years of condescension, of being treated like my work was cute but not serious, of daily reminders that I wasn't on her level, that part felt something I'm not entirely proud of. Vindication, maybe? Justice, or just relief that I didn't have to hear about her engagement rates anymore? I finally responded to her DM that evening. Kept it simple, thanks. I'm pretty swamped with projects right now, but I appreciate you reaching out. Professional, distant, final. She read it immediately. The 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again, then nothing. September rolled around and something shifted. Vanessa started being nice. Not genuine nice, strategic nice. She'd compliment my outfits. Bring me coffee without asking. Laugh too hard at jokes I made in meetings. It was almost worse than the condescension. My coworker Melissa noticed. She's studying your playbook, she said during a happy hour. Trying to figure out what she missed. Should I feel bad? I asked. For what? Being good at something? She made this competitive, not you. By October, my page hit 60,000 followers. I'd started getting actual business from it, consulting gigs, speaking opportunities, a course partnership deal. It had gone from hobby to legitimate side income. Vanessa's page was at 1,500 followers. She'd gained 600 followers in 7 months. The final moment, the one where I knew things had fundamentally changed, came in late October. We were in the kitchen, both getting coffee, just us. She was stirring sugar into hers, that methodical clockwise motion she always did. Your content's really taken off, she said, not looking at me. Yeah, it's been wild. Silence. Stirring. Then, what's your secret? I almost laughed. Not meanly, it just bubbled up. Because there was no secret. There never had been. I just share what I actually know, I said. Talk like a real person. Don't try to sound like an expert. Just try to be helpful. She nodded slowly, still stirring coffee that definitely didn't need more stirring. That's it? That's it. She finally looked at me. Really looked at me, maybe for the first time since we'd met. And I saw something I didn't expect. Defeat, yeah, but also genuine confusion. Like she couldn't understand how someone she'd dismissed so thoroughly had lapped her. I thought you had to be perfect, she said quietly. I thought you had to have it all figured out. And there it was. The thing I'd learned accidentally, that she'd missed completely while being so busy performing expertise. People don't follow perfect. They follow real. I didn't say that, though. Seemed cruel to twist the knife. Maybe that's the difference, I said instead. I never thought I had it figured out. She dumped her coffee in the sink and left the kitchen. 2 weeks later, Vanessa put in her notice. Said she got an offer at a startup in LA. Better title, better pay. The whole team went out for farewell drinks, and everyone was nice about it. But there was this unspoken understanding that she was running toward something, but also away from something else. At the bar, slightly drunk on her 3rd whiskey sour, she cornered me near the bathroom. You know what's funny? She said, words slightly slurred. I spent 3 years trying to prove I was better than everyone. And you spent 3 years just being good, not proving it. Just doing it. Vanessa, no, she laughed, but it sounded sad. It's actually really funny. I was so busy telling everyone my level that I forgot to just, I don't know, be someone worth following. She left Austin the following week. I never responded to her follow request on LinkedIn. My page is sitting at 95,000 followers now, and honestly, I still can't fully believe it. I'm getting to do consulting work I love, I've built actual friendships through my content, and last month I quit the agency to work for myself. The best part, though? I never think about levels anymore. Don't compare my numbers to other people's. Don't announce my wins to rooms full of people who didn't ask. Because here's what I learned. The people who spend all their time telling you about their level are usually too busy talking to actually climb. And sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's just becoming so good at what you do that the people who doubted you have no choice but to watch. From the sidelines. Following your page. Finally silent.